Welcome to the show, the Court of Public Opinion, ladies and gentlemen, from the garage. Pete's here and Gary's still here.
Cheers.
Cheers. They've each got a glass of wine. It's not fair. I could bring one over, but I just think it might look a little unsightly, so I won't do it. Welcome to our sponsors, Rossdale Homes, by the way. They are new, and we welcome you back to the garage. They've got a great slogan, which is, when trust is a must. And God, when you go out there and sign up to have your dream house built, you really want to know that you can trust the builder. And with Rossdale Homes, you can. Tell you more about them tomorrow in the live streaming show. Aldi, by the way, hot cross buns. They're hot cross buns have scooped the pool. They are officially the best hot cross buns in Australia, apparently. How would you possibly judge hot cross buns?
By eating them all, one at a time.
Okay. Now this is interesting. There are 7,000 petrol stations, service stations, to serve every motorist in Australia. And there are 40,000 tobacconists. Right? 7,000 service stations, 40,000 tobacconists, and just 6% of the population smoke, 100% drive. And I guess if you've got more than one car, you'd probably a lot more than 100% drive. 40,000 people selling tobacco.
Yeah, right.
When only 6% of the population smoke. Government, being unable to stop the illegal tobacco trade, will probably move in the next few weeks to close down every tobacconist. Remember, you heard it here first. What do you think? Tell me tomorrow. 0491 65 68 60. Here in South Australia, police may soon stop taking reports on fuel drive-offs. Now, as the prices of fuel surge, we are seeing a wave of first-time offenders stealing from service stations. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens told fuel retailers Wednesday that they have to install prepaid bowsers. You'd imagine what that would cost. They have to install prepaid bowsers because police will not be chasing petrol thieves drive-offs anymore. Drive-offs, snapshot, 221. That's up 37% in the past week. So I'm assuming the 221 is just 1 week's worth of drive-offs. Shocking. Now, I don't know if you know the name Madeleine King. Madeleine King is the Federal Minister for Resources, and she was on the 7:30 program on the ABC. How would Australia get fuel? This is the question Sarah Ferguson asked her. How do you envisage Australians will get fuel? And she said, well, I imagine they will put it on trucks and deliver it. Wonderful answer, but can you believe it? What a brain! What a brain! But when you dig a little deeper, you will see that you'll see what Madeleine did before entering politics. She was a political advisor. I don't know, is that a spin doctor?
Indeed it is.
A spin doctor.
Indeed.
Okay. What life experience does she have? I'm also wondering out loud why a minister, presumably you're not being given a portfolio that you don't know anything about, why would a minister in charge of a portfolio need advisors in the first place? And what life experience do any of them have? It's stupid that we don't stand up and ask before we elect these people, hey, what do you know? What's your experience? What's been your previous job? What are your qualifications? You imagine people getting jobs costing hundreds of thousands of dollars when I'm not aware of anything other than political patronage. Anyway, neuroscientists say that the time we spent looking at a screen is rotting our brain. It is shrinking our brain. What a wonderful thought. Think of all those screens out there, for God's sake. Screens of one kind or another are a vital part of life, a vital part of the education system for a start. I can see that the earlier you start staring at a screen, possibly the more cumulative damage you're doing. I can see the rebirth of audio, the rebirth of radio, maybe. You know, theatre of the mind, where the words create the images in your brain. Your mind is working with every word that you hear. This could be a very good thing, as long as we get onto it in time. But you've got to, if you're listening to the radio, pick your program. Because I'm sure there are a few of those out there which will also rot your brain.
Carl's gone.
Oh, no, you know. Well, you said that, I didn't. All right. Now, here's a truth. When you have a great brand, you've won the lottery. But it doesn't just happen. You've worked bloody hard for your reputation. The most important thing you possess is your great name. You earned it. And of course, our recognition of the value that it holds, your history. I see one of the great names in Australian healthcare, the Royal District Nursing Service, the RDNS. Been around for, well, it started in 1885, which means it's been around for 140 years. 140 years of recognition and celebration. Everyone knows it. Someone has decided that it would be a really good idea to change this venerable and valuable name to
Silver chain.
Silver Chain. Whatever the hell Silver Chain means.
Why?
Well, why indeed, Gary? It means absolutely nothing to me. I can't see the connection between a silver chain and good healthcare, particularly the service that the RDNS. You saw, probably see the initials on the side of cars all over Australia. Now, they've provided service for a long time in people's homes. Wonderful service. Silver Chain, what is it? It's like, well, to me, it's the 12-year-old in the marketing department. Hey, we need a change here. We need to modernise, yes. Or is it that you just don't like the word royal? As I say, if you have a great brand, don't monkey around with it. Most importantly, don't let anyone else monkey around with it and probably charge you a fortune to give you what I would say is bad advice. Now, when you see those endless ads on television, not for Silver Chain, but they are quite a few of them out there. I'm talking about the ads on television for animal protection charities, wildlife protection charities. They want so much money each week from us to do their invaluable work. Now, I don't know what invaluable work they do or where. I don't have any faith in the organisations that I have spoken to, at least 6 of these organisations, who I don't believe give a damn about the slaughter of the wild horses, the brumbies of New South Wales and Victoria. They don't even return my calls. I just want them to help me with my campaign to do something about it. They're not interested. I do not think animal protection is anywhere on their radar. Collecting donations, however, looms large. And speaking of television, how is it that those kids on Current Affair, who regularly expose the NDIS fraudsters, I mean, they're right there, openly defrauding the taxpayer, hiding in plain sight. They become an item of entertainment, when in actual fact they should be handed an arrest warrant. But here's the question. How does a TV show track down these perpetrators, get the evidence, produce the gotcha moment, when the NDIS and the government and the federal police and whoever else might be involved can't? Is it that they don't want to? Or is it that they don't care? Or perhaps they're just frightened that there is so much corruption and theft in the NDIS that lift that Labor-designed lid and it will completely blow up in their face. But to me, it's like the CFMEU business, where when Nick McKenzie came up with this front-page story about the corruption, and he continues to grow the story, and the government says, we didn't know. They didn't know. Everybody who's ever built anything could have told you. Anyway, and here's another one that gets up my nose. Do we have to spend public money to advertise, to tell people to stop at level crossings when a freight train is coming? Really? We'll be running commercials soon to tell people to come out of the rain. Anyway, here's the freight train barreling down the line, the bells are ringing, the lights are flashing. We are not that stupid, please tell me. But we do have this thing called the Darwin Awards. Don't know if you know about it, but these are the awards given to people who, through their own stupidity, end their lives prematurely, and preferably before breeding, and therefore saving the human gene pool by preventing another idiot from making a contribution. I've sort of agonised over whether I should talk to you about the ABC, but Pauline Hanson made me do it. So I'll do it. It annoys me when I think what the ABC could be, how good it could be. It's amazing. It costs us $1 billion a year, and as Pauline Hanson told us on Friday around the dining room table, she would stop funding it. One nation would stop funding it. And I think it would be the best thing that could happen, not only for the taxpayer, but for the ABC. It could easily be funded using subscriptions, and if people refuse to subscribe, well, the ABC would have to examine itself, answer a few questions. Why are they currently not living in the real world? If something is not popular, in demand, why does it exist in this competitive business of the media? At the moment, they don't live in the real accountable media world. More like a sheltered workshop, ladies and gentlemen. The ABC could progress. It could become what it used to be. A meritocracy. Back when Sir Talbot Duck Manton was the head of it. And they've had some marvellous people running it in the past. They've got really good people. I'm sure they're not all left-wing apparatchiks. Turn them loose. Free them up. It is so sad watching the news on Friday, for example. Just for example, when the Prime Minister was cornered at the Lakemba Mosque. What were you doing there? Anyway, for God's sake, the Lakemba Mosque, the Australian Prime Minister, in a monocultural suburb where Australians do not feel welcome. I've seen the footage. The Prime Minister is there sitting cross-legged on the floor and he's being harassed, screamed at. His security detail quickly escort him from the building. The ABC are recording this whole thing. I'm not sure what annoyed the locals. They called him a dog. Well, apparently it's the worst thing you could say. Muslims don't like dogs. Dogs are evil. Do you hear that, Pete?
Oh, yeah, I know all about that.
Well, right, where did it come from then?
Muhammad was going to meet the angel Gabriel on a particular night.
Yes.
But Gabriel didn't show.
Well, we've all known that sort of disappointment.
Well, so Muhammad was disappointed.
Yes.
And he found out that Gabriel doesn't like dogs.
How did he find that out?
You tell me. This is the story they came up with.
So
from that point on, Muhammad killed all the dogs in the village. They eased up a bit and said, okay, you can have them as a sheepdog, but they must not come in the house.
Well,
And black dogs are the devil. That's what Islam says about black dogs.
Well, don't mention any of this to Katie.
Exactly.
Dogs are evil. I thought dog was man's best friend, frankly. But here he was, the Prime Minister with his security detail being booed and harangued and harassed. He probably, as I said, shouldn't have been there. I don't think the Lakemba Mosque is part of the Australian culture. The PM is trying to walk both sides of the street, ladies and gentlemen. He's got these 2, or perhaps it's 4, seats in southwestern Sydney, which are very Muslim. He's got to keep those in Labor hands. Otherwise, they'll go immediately to independence. And he doesn't want that. I understand that. He is in a very difficult position. But he shouldn't be in that difficult position, of course. He should be profoundly, totally Australian. He is the Australian Prime Minister at the moment. We're coming to the end.
No, we're okay. Oh, well,
Okay.
yeah.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. There was something else I wanted to do. Oh, the Institute of Public Affairs has published some research into migration. We mentioned it briefly on Friday. The Institute argues that growing support for tougher migration policies comes not from traditional Conservative voters, but increasingly from migrants themselves, which surprised me. I didn't think that would be the case. Anyway, we will be with you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, live streaming, jeremycordeaux.com, round the dining room table, with our new sponsors, Rossdale Homes. March the 26th it is today. 1845, a patent was awarded for adhesive medicated plaster, precursor to Band-Aids. There was another one called Elastoplast. Elastoplast, I think. 1845. And before then you just had a bandage, I suppose, but adhesive medicated plasters. Queen Elizabeth II sent out the first royal email from the Royal Signals and Radar Establishment on this day in 1976. Gee whiz. That was the year I came to Adelaide. I don't think I'd ever heard of an email. I think that's extraordinary.
Indeed.
Eastman Film Company manufactures the first commercial motion picture film on this day in 1885. Doctor Who returns to BBC TV after 16 years with the debut of Christopher Eccleston as the 9th Doctor and Billy Piper as Rose. Christopher's entrance to TV. This day, 2005. How many doctors have there been? I don't know. It's a cult thing. I've never been able to quite get my mind around Doctor Who. Raising the flag. This is an important one. Raising the flag on Iwo Jima. Allies led by the US Marine Corps secure the island of Iwo Jima from Imperial Japan after 18,000 Japanese were killed and 6,000 Americans were killed. 1945 on this day, and they gave birth, I mentioned it before, that incredible statue and carving and monument, which is the raising of the flag. Beautiful, beautiful moment. Dr. Jonas Salk, another great moment, announces that he has successfully tested a vaccine to prevent polio. Clinical trials begin the following year. The year was 1953, and it changed the world because, you know, kids with paralysis and iron lungs and polio and terrible damage to...
The late 50s, very serious.
Late 50s were absolutely terrible. You talk about the, what do you call it, the lockdown for COVID. I remember my mother telling us that when we went to the shops, she would walk us down the middle of the road because she was scared that we would get germs or polio or something. And a lot of kids did, of course. Am I running out of time, Pete?
Yes.
Yes, okay. US forbids immigration to criminals, anarchists, paupers, and the sick. Sounds a bit Trump-esque, doesn't it?
That sounds a bit Trumpian.
This was 1910. US forbids migration of criminals, anarchists, paupers, and the sick. Okay, and the United States adopts the Air Force flag officially. President Harry S. Truman does the honors this day in 1951. Thank you so much for being with us, ladies and gentlemen. See you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Around the dining room table, guests and all sorts of interesting stuff, and your phone calls 0491 65 68 60. Believe in yourself, and thank you for viewing the Court of Public Opinion.